if you want to eat the mascot, you got to stick with the Miami Marlins.
How much time did Wild spend researching
Fire the marketer.
See, I'm not the only one where workshops are needed. I'm not the only one. Time for Draw the Blank now. Richard Sherman, still a free agent. Get this, reportedly open to a reunion with Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson up in Seattle. Wouldn't that be something? So, Brandon, Richard Sherman back to Seattle would be blank. You can't say something.
Well, that'd be an easy commute for him. He still lives in Seattle, so he still has his house there. Voice of reason. I truly believe that. For Coach Pete Carroll, you got to think about Coach, man. We've been saying it for a couple of months. He keeps doing the same thing over and over and over again. Now, it worked in college. It worked early on in his tenure back with Seattle. But now everybody knows the book is out on Pete Carroll. I love Coach Pete Carroll. Coach Pete Carroll, I love you. I've been crushing you for a couple months. You know I love you. You know me and you have a phenomenal relationship. But I gotta keep it real, Coach. You gotta change up your defense, please. I love what you did the second half of the season when you start blitzing corners and you start doing the little things off script, and it start working. You went from the worst defense in NFL history to a pretty good defense, a defense that can compete. So if you bring this guy back, which I know you like him and respect him, he can sit down with you and say, Coach, maybe we can change a few things. And he may be able to tell you and convince you to keep Russell Wilson happy. Yeah. That's what it is, voice of reason, Nick.
Yeah, I don't know that Brandon and Pete Carroll actually still have a tremendous relationship. I know Brandon wants them to, and on Brandon's end, he thinks it is, but Pete Carroll hasn't been flaming Brandon about twice a week for the last 3 months. So I might check in on the maintenance of that relationship. Yeah, call him and see. I say Wilds would be counterproductive. Russell Wilson this whole thing is about Russell Wilson trying to turn the page into a new era of Russell Wilson-based Seahawks football. So bringing back the face of the previous era, even if he's still a good player, and just 2 years ago, he was one of the best corners in football before he got injured last year, and I think he is a good player. Even if it would help you on the field, I think Wilds, it could be counterproductive to what they're trying to do overall. So that's my answer.
I buy that, but I just love players coming back. I like Kyle Van Noy coming back to the Patriots. I like Richard Sherman going back to the Seahawks. Hey, will he be able to block for Russell Wilson? Probably not. We talked about it maybe moving to safety. Probably won't be able to move to offensive line, though, Jenna.
All right, let's move on to Indianapolis now, where the Colts, spending their cap money, bringing T.Y. Hilton back. Signed the receiver to a one-year, $10 million deal yesterday. Hey, Brandon, T.Y.'s return to Indy should have quarterback Carson Wentz feeling blank.
Truly loved. Come on, Jenna. He just left the city of brotherly love. But is it really brotherly love in Philadelphia? Please. You have one bad game. Shoot, one bad quarter in Philly, they start booing you. So now he's in Indy with a phenomenal general manager, a phenomenal head coach, a defense, an offensive line, a running back, and then they go back out and get this man right here who has 10,000 yards on his career. Man, he should feel love, right, Nick?
I don't know. I think you should feel average, and that's not a bad thing. Here's the deal. T.Y. Hilton's had a very good career, but in 2021, if T.Y. Hilton's your #1 receiver, you have an average #1 receiver. The position's as deep as it's ever been. But average is not a bad thing for Carson Wentz, Wilds. If Carson Wentz this year can be average, if he can be the 16th best quarterback in the NFL, the Colts are in great shape. That's about what they had last year, and they damn near beat the Bills in the playoffs. They won 11 games. The defense should be actually better. The offensive line should still be great. So I think it should have him feeling average because they should be shooting to have an average passing attack, which if they do with the rest of that team, that'll be a very dangerous team, Lawrence.
Yeah, I said protected. He looks around, he's like, oh, look at this. A better wide receiver, T.Y. Hilton. My offensive line, you guys only got Phillip Rivers sacked 16 times. I got sacked 50 times. And our old friend, Jonathan Taylor, go Badgers. He's got a bunch of weapons now. I think he's going to be slightly above average. Not fantastic, but slightly above average, Jenna.
Cam Newton's hoping that his people around him are slightly above average. In New England, Cam joining some of his receivers out in California for some off-season work, trying to all get on the same page. Free agent additions, Kendrick Bourne, Nelson Aguilar, Hunter Henry, all putting the work in. So, Brandon, Cam's favorite new offensive weapon, you think, will be blank.
Ooh, you missed a couple more because they signed, what, like 35 people this offseason?
Yeah,
so you missed a couple. There's a lot of guys to pick from. You know who I'm going to go with, Jenna? I'm going to go with Cameron Newton. Man, that's the guy. He got to bet on himself. Think about this. This dude, he is a legend. He's not going to throw for 4,000 yards. He's only done that once, and that was his rookie year. But he was dominant on third down, Mr. Efficient. On third down, he was dominant in the red zone. He have thrown for 30 touchdowns before because he had tight ends. So now when you look at the makeup of this team, who they brought in, with this guy now honing back into the fundamentals, I got to go with him. He should be betting on himself. He should be excited. This is, you know what, I told you so moment for Cam Newton. Everybody's talking about your arm. Everybody's saying you're done. Now you have what you need. You have great coaches, and you have good players around you. Go get it done, and now go tell all of us, shut up and sit down.
All right, my answer is Jonnu Smith. You mentioned the 30-touchdown year. Greg Olsen was a huge part of it. I think Jonnu Smith will be Cam's most reliable weapon. And I know we're showing Jonnu Smith highlights now. I wish for a moment we could show the clip we showed to start this segment of the guys working out. That first receiver in the drills, I believe that to be Kendrick Bourne. Brandon, can you get him on the House of Athlete meal plan? I feel like my man Kendrick Bourne needs a sandwich or two. We were talking about Devontae Smith the other day. Devontae Smith and Kendrick Bourne go to the same health club, it would appear. So we need to get Kendrick Bourne a little weight on him. Maybe you can help him out. But my answer is Jonnu Smith, Wilds.
Okay, my take on the video was, Brandon, you can only go so hard as a football player in a baseball hat. You just can't. There's a limit to how much you're really grinding when you just have like a wide brim, flat brim hat. That, unless you're wearing Cam's beautiful Mashika hat. That's wonderful. All right, my answer is tight end TBD. The tight end era is back. We know that the Patriots have struggled mightily without their tight ends the last few years, but we are back. Who's it going to be? Is it going to be Hunter? Is it going to be Jonnu? Doesn't matter. It's going to be both of them. Tight end TBD. Like it.
That's because they're tight ends down in Tampa. Let's head to Tampa, where, according to a report, Bucs haven't closed the door on bringing back wide receiver Antonio Brown. I mean, they pretty much brought everyone else back, but what's one more, said the girl who doesn't run their payroll. Hey, Brandon, the quarterback you want to see throwing to AB this season is blank.
Ooh, let me see. I don't have a watch on, but let me check my time.
Pretend.
Look, these guys are 3 weeks away from they're posting pictures and videos on social media of these two together, throwing together. This is Lamar. Lamar and AB. It's mutually beneficial for these two to come together. No wide receiver really wants to go to Baltimore because of Greg and the passing game, because it doesn't feel like it's all one. AB, it doesn't seem like the market is treating you nicely. They need a wide receiver. You need a quarterback. You need a home. You guys come together. You're already down here in South Florida. Every offseason, you guys throw together, and you're going to do it in the next couple weeks. So why don't you guys sit at the table, make a deal, and go light up the scoreboard? I like this, and I also like this from a scheme standpoint. Now AB has someone that when he breaks the actually, Lamar has someone when he breaks the pocket, someone's going to be out there that is savvy enough to know where to go and how to escape whatever's happening so he can get open and make a big play. And that's AB. Go back to what happened with Big Ben and AB, and you'll see these off-schedule big plays. That's what we want to see between Lamar and Antonio Brown, Nick.
So, Brandon, you're saying he could thrive with a quarterback that might like to get out of the pocket, find a secondary read on a team that all of a sudden might have an opening at the wide receiver position. Right division, wrong team. How about Baker? Odell gets traded. You have an opening there. Baker playing a little point guard. As Colin Cowherd likes to say, is Juice open? What about AB? What about our tight end? Should I check down to Nick Chubb or Kareem Hunt? I like Baker for this one. I also think that the Browns are going to have a need for a secondary wide receiver, particularly a slot one, so I think it would fit really well. So that's my answer, Wilds. Baker.
I think it's got to be Brady, right? Antonio Brown hasn't caught a pass in the NFL from someone not named Tom Brady in over 2 years.
Right.
The Bucs keep bringing everybody back. It'd certainly be a little bit weird if you're like, AB, I know you're Tom Brady's best friend to the point that they live together, but he's not going to be the guy that they signed. I think it's got to be Tom Brady.
I agree with you, Wilds. All right, let's take a turn and talk some hoops. The Lakers reportedly might be eyeing Kyle Lowry before today's trade deadline. See if that deal gets done. But first, check out Lowry getting an early birthday call from none other than Drake during his post-game presser last night. Look at this.
You guys, we have a special guest here.
I just want to know if you guys have any. I'm here to translate. I'm his translator.
You know you're not. No, I know you're not. I'll hit you when I'm done, bro. All right, y'all can keep going.